Start with the VBA training. Getting this file, everyone? Now, what is Excel? Excel is what? It is called as a Excel is called as a spreadsheet or a worksheet. A spreadsheet or a worksheet means it is made up of rows and columns, right? Now, how many rows and columns do you think is present in Excel sheet? How many rows, how many columns? Yes, anyone? Any rough guesses? Yes, Ramamurthy.
Nothing, sir. I'm reading something. Sorry, sir.
Tell me how many rows are there?
Row, I think 1048576.
Okay. And what about columns?
Columns, I think you have to find out.
Okay. How do you insert a blank sheet in the same workbook? Now, for doing
towards the bottom, I think there is a plus.
Plus symbol.
I mean, that's the easiest way of doing it, but there are shortcuts as well.
Yeah. So there are multiple methods for doing the same thing in Excel. So if I want to insert a blank sheet, one method is you right click on any sheet and you select insert. That is one method. Or as you said, you can click on this plus symbol, or we can also press Shift F11. Shift F11 is the keyboard shortcut for inserting a blank sheet in the same workbook. Okay. Now ask me about how many rows and columns are there. If I want to check it out, what you do is when you're on a blank sheet, you press Control and down arrow. Control and down arrow will take you to the last row. So how many rows can you see here? You can see there are 10,40,576 rows, right? So when I press Control and down arrow, it takes me to the last row. Likewise, how do I go to the last column? Control and right arrow. Like you can see the row numbers, the column numbers are not visible. Now suppose I want to see how many columns are there. Select any cell in the last column and you type equals column, open and close bracket. Select any cell in the last column and you type equals column, open and close bracket. This is a function which will give me the column number of any column. Okay, since I'm in the last column, this should give you the number of the last one. So it says there are 16,384 columns. So each Excel sheet has 10,48,576 rows and 16,384 columns. Okay. Now I'm in the last column here. From here, I want to directly go to the first cell. So what is the quickest method? From here, I want to directly go to the first cell. First cell is A1.
That's control home.
Control home. Control home will take you from anywhere to the first cell. Likewise, suppose I want to go to a specific cell, say J200. What is the quickest method? There are two methods. One method is, you can see there is a field here on the left side of this formula bar. That is called as a name box. If I keep my mouse on that, it shows it is a name box. So what will the name box display? The current portion of your cell. Okay. So if I want to go to J200, one method is you click on that name box, type J200 and press enter. Or you can also press Ctrl G. Ctrl G will display a window like this. This is called as a go to window. Here also in the reference, you can type any cell address where you want to jump. Okay. So these are some shortcuts to navigate in a worksheet. Fine. Now come back to that main data. How do you apply a filter?
So that control home, can you explain?
See, right now let us say my cell is somewhere here. Okay. Now from here, I want to directly go to the first cell. First cell means in the first column, the first cell. So one method is I can always press Ctrl left, then again press Ctrl up arrow. So that is two steps. So instead of that, suppose I want to go to the first cell with a single click or a single shortcut. You press Ctrl and Home at the same time. The moment you press Ctrl Home, from anywhere, it will go to the first cell.
Okay.
Okay. That is just to navigate in a worksheet. Suppose you have a large database and you want to directly go to the first cell, you can press Ctrl Home for that.
Okay.
Select the main data, apply a filter, Ctrl Shift L. Now I want all of you to display sales east records. So how will you display sales east records? Click on the drop down of department, display sales. So here you can see there are 18 records. Then you can click on the region and type east. So we are getting 4 records. This clear, everyone? Sales east records. Now I want all of you to display all sales records as well as all east records. See whether it is possible. Display all sales, as well as all east. When I say all sales, that means I want sales east, sales west, sales north to be displayed. As well as all east means finance east, marketing east, CCD east, R&D east, all sales records plus all east records. Just check whether if anyone is getting it. सेल्स के सारे रिकॉर्ड्स प्लस ईस्ट के सारे रिकॉर्ड्स. If anyone is getting it, just tell me. Nobody is getting. Hello. Tanvir, Ramamurthy, Ravi.
Yes, we can do it by applying filters.
You can do it?
The pivot.
No, I am asking about filters. We are not at all talking about pivot here.
Okay. Yeah, we can select cells and then we can select east.
Okay, you just tell me how this can be done. I'll do it on the screen. So how do I display all sales plus all east? Should I apply a filter on the region first?
On the department first, right?
Okay. Department sales.
Sales.
Okay. Then
Region East. Region
region
East.
east. Yeah, this we have already done. What I'm asking is, can I display all sales? All sales means I want sales east, sales west, sales north, as well as sales south. Sales के सारे records, ठीक है? Plus all east records. All east records means I want finance east, marketing east, R&D east, ये भी चाहिए. सारे east के records as well as all sales records. When you say sales
Oh, yeah.
east, you are getting only the record that is in sales east records, only 4 records.
So you are asking like should be like advanced filter.
Can't I do it using normal filters?
Normal filter will filter only department and make it as a sales. So we'll get all the regions, region wise.
Okay,
Uh,
fine,
if again in region, if we select the east, we'll get all the department.
right. So you are saying that it is not possible for getting all sales as well as all east.
Yeah.
Okay. If this is not possible, try this. Can I display all the records where the salary is between 10,000 to say 20,000? Is this possible?
Yes, sir. I think in the value contained will make.
Fine, this is possible, right?
Yeah.
Now, along with this, okay, along with salary between 10,000 to 20,000, I also want to see records where the salary is between 30K to 50K, both. I want to see all the records where the salary is between 10,000 to 20,000, as well as records where the salary is between 30K to 50K. See, in the first case, I can see sales east. Okay, so if I go to department, type sales, and if I go to region and type east, I can see sales east. In sales, only the east records. But if I want all the sales as well as all the east records, it is not possible using your normal filters. Likewise, in case of salary, I can see either the records where the salary is between 10,000 to 20,000 or between 30,000 to 50,000, but both are not possible. If I go to the salary filters, we can see there is option called as number filters, between, and here I can specify the range. But only thing is that I can specify only one range. Both range cannot be specified. Either 10 to 20 or 30K to 50K. So when you have conditions like this, your normal filter fails. Then we need to go for something called as advanced filters. Okay. When I say display sales east records, is it an AND function or a OR function? Sales ke east records.
Function.
It is an AND function, right? So a AND function between the columns, all the fields is possible, but a OR function between the columns or the fields is not possible. So when I say display all sales plus all east, it is a OR function between the columns. That is not possible using your normal filters. When I say display the records where the salary is between 10,000 to 20,000, it is an AND function. Okay. But if I say display all the records, well, the salaries between 10K to 20K as well as 30K to 50K, it is a and or function. So even that is not possible using your normal filters. So let us see how the advanced filters can be done. So we'll not make any changes to the original database. What we'll do is we'll create a copy of this main data and do an advanced filter on that. We need advanced filters for learning macros. Okay. So right click on the main data sheet. Move or copy. And you can check this, create a copy. What this will do is it will create a duplicate copy of the main data. Rename this main data sheet as filters. I'll repeat once again. Create a copy of this main data. And rename it as filters. Remove the auto filters, Control Shift L. Now we need to insert 10 blank rows above the header. So again, there are multiple methods. One method is you can right click on this row number and select insert. Then go on pressing F4. F4 is for repeating the previous action. That is one method. Or select all these 10 rows. First you select row number 1. Then you press Shift and the down arrow key. Select up to the 10 rows. Then right click, insert. Or you can also press Control plus. Even that will insert a blank row. Or even Alt IR will insert a blank row. Then copy only the header, the 4th row. Insert 10 blank rows above the header. After that, copy only the header to the 4th row. We'll call this as a criteria range. Criteria means conditions. Okay, now you can just watch on the screen, understand the concept, then you can try it on your own. Now first let us see how many records we should get if you are applying, if you want to see all sales and all list. So first what I'll do is I'll apply a filter on sales.
Amardeep, can you just tell me what is the formula you told to insert the cells? Control the shortcut that you told.
For inserting a blank row, right?
Right.
Yeah. See, one method is I can press Alt IR. Alt IR is the keyboard shortcut for inserting a blank row. Or the other method is, since I want to insert 10 blank rows, I'm clicking on this row number 1. Then you press Shift and down arrow key so that you select up to the 10th row. Then you can press Control plus.
Control plus, right?
Or you can also right click and select insert. And the plus has to be from the numeric keypad, not the plus that is below the function keys. If you want to use the plus sign that is below the function keys, then you need to press Control Shift plus, because the point is to activate the plus symbol. Okay.
That helps. Thank you.
Now, if I display the sales records, you are getting 18 records. Okay. And you have 4 records of sales list. Then if I see only the east records, I am getting 20. So 20 east records plus 18 of sales records should give me 38 records. But you have 4 records of sales there, which are in sales list. So I should be deducting that 4 records. So I should be getting 34 records. If I display all sales, plus all east, I should be getting 34 records. Okay. Now, my question was that display all sales plus all east records. So what I'll do is under the department, I'll type sales. And in the next row, under the region, I'll type east. When you give the conditions on different rows, it tells Excel that show all the records where the department is sales as well as the region is east. It is like a OR functionality. But if I give the conditions on the same row, it will act as AND function. So if I give the condition like this, it tells Excel that show all the records where the department is sales and region is east, which is already possible using your normal filters. Sorry. But the OR functionality is not possible. Like this, you can give any number of conditions. If I give one more condition like say Cuttack under the branch, this means show all the records where the department is sales or region is east or branch is Cuttack. Okay. Once you give the conditions for applying advanced filters, you click on data. Make sure your cell is inside the main database. Then next to that filter icon, you have one option called as advanced. The moment I click on advanced, you will get a window like this. If your cell is inside the main database, then in the list range, the entire range will be automatically selected, or else you need to select it manually. Then it is showing some criteria range. I'll remove this criteria range, make it blank, and scroll to the top where you have the conditions. For the criteria range, I'll select the header as well as the conditions. So in my case, the conditions are from D4 to E6. Now the moment I click on OK, it should give me 34 records. So first we see the number of records displayed are 34, right? Now I want to cross check whether it is giving me the correct data or not. So what I'll do is, even after you filter the data, you can still sort it. So I'll click on the department and press Z2A. Z2A means descending to ascending. So here I can see all the sales records. So the count is 18. So all the sales records has been displayed. Then I can see all east records. So the count of east is 16. That includes 4 of your sales also. So we are total of 34 records. Okay. I'll do it once again. Now you can do it along with me. Once you have created the structure, type the conditions on different rows. Different rows means or, same row means and. Then keep your cell anywhere in the main database. Click on data, advanced. Make sure in the list range, the entire database is selected. Then in the criteria range, select the range where you have given the conditions, including the header. In my case, it is from D4 to D6. Then click on OK. First, to check the number of records. It should be 34. Now to sort the database, select any cell in the department column and click on Z2A. So you get all the cells, and after the cells you get all East. R&D East, Personal East, Marketing East. To remove the filters, click on Data and click on Clear. Getting this, everyone?
Amardeep,
Yes,
just
sir.
one question.
Yes, got
So,
it.
why
Yeah.
can't we write East and cells side by side? Is there any specific reason?
You mean in the same row?
Right.
If I put it in the same row, that means we are using an AND functionality. That tells Excel that use an AND functionality.
Okay.
If I put it on different rows, it is a OR functionality.
Got it.
And here we want all sales and all list, which uses a OR functionality. So I am putting it in different rows.
Okay. And even if we use this particular function, I mean, through the normal filter, if we say, we can first filter on cells, then we can filter it on East, right? And we can find it out.
No, that is what I showed you in the beginning,
it.
right?
Okay.
It is not possible using your normal filters.
Got it.
Ah. Yes, Namita, you are asking something.
No, I got it.
Okay, fine.
No, I didn't got it. Can you repeat?
Yeah. Have you created that criteria range?
Yeah, yes.
Hello,
Yeah. Yeah, Vijay.
sir. Is it mandatory to add up 10 rows there? Because you said
No,
like
no.
yeah, I can add up
We
one
need-
or two rows. I will have
Yeah. We need some space. We need
yeah,
some
you need
space
some space,
on
right?
the top.
Yeah.
So better to add 10 rows because when we are learning macros, we are going to create buttons also. So we need some space for buttons. So
Right.
I'm to be on the safe side. I am taking some more space. Okay. You
Okay.
can have that criteria in a different sheet also. Not
Okay.
necessary that it should be in the same sheet. It can be in a different sheet or a different workbook also.
Okay.
Huh. Manikandan,
Yeah.
you can share your screen. I'll tell you the steps and you do it. That way you will remember it better.
Yes.
Huh.
Screen is visible.
Yeah, the screen is visible.
So first, I have
First.
created this.
Ah.
Yeah.
First, to keep
And
your cell anywhere in the main database.
Yeah, here.
In the database. Your cell is outside the database. Now you go to
Here, right?
data,
Ah.
advanced, data advanced.
Here I want to select right.
Hmm.
List range.
Now, can you see in the list range, the entire database is selected. Okay, you can also select it. Fine. Control Shift, down arrow, right arrow. H111. Fine. Now go to the criteria range, make it blank. Now scroll to the top, click on the department, and then select up to East.
Okay.
Fine. D4
Okay.
to
Okay. Yeah, I
East.
got it.
Now you got
Actually, I
34
have kept. Yeah, I have selected the criteria and some sales. That is why it has gone.
Now,
Yeah.
fine. Now you select any cell in the department column. No, in the department column. Now you click on Z2A, data Z2A. Click on that icon Z2A. Z2A.
Okay.
Now you're getting all the cells, right?
Yes.
And if you scroll down, you will get all the East records also.
Yeah, got it.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Now the second,
If I
Ah.
want to change the filtering immediately, like whatever you have mentioned, in upward rows like cells and yeast.
Hmm.
Okay, after having filtration things, if I will add up a different region there immediately, so will it take it, or should I go
No.
back and do the
you
filtration
need to
system
go
again?
back to advanced and again
Okay.
click on OK.
Again click on OK. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that is what we are going to overcome using macros.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
this is not dynamic, right like your auto filters.
Yeah.
To make it dynamic, we'll be using macros. We'll be doing it with the help of macros.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Now the next question was that I want to see all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K as well as 30K to 50K. Now let us see the first one between 10K to 20K. So I can write here below salary greater than or equal to 10K. But where will I write less than or equal to 20,000? When I say display salary between 10,000 to 20,000, it is a AND function, right? Salary should be greater than or equal to 10,000. At the same time, salary should be less than or equal to 20,000. So both these conditions should be satisfied. So whenever you are checking for a value in a numerical range, it will be always a AND functionality. And how do you apply an AND function in advanced filters? It should be in the same row. So what I'll do is copy this header and paste it in the same row, and here I will write less than or equal to 20,000. Since this is in the same row, it will be considered as a AND. Now what about 30K to 50K? I'll write it below this. Since this is on a different row, it will be considered as a OR. So this tells Excel that show all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K as well as between 30K to 50K. Okay. Sorry. So let us try this. Now my criteria range is going to be H4 to I6. The method will be same. Only the range is going to be different. So I'll go to advanced. List range will remain same. Criteria range will be H4, H6. Then when I click on OK, I am getting 74 records. Now let us cross check it. So I'm getting one record of 49,000, which is between 30K to 50K, and rest of them are between 10 to 20. So we have 3 records which are between 10 to 20 and one record which is between 30K to 50. What if I select the criteria range as D4 to I5, that is sales and salary between 10K to 20K? What will be the result?
Sales department, which is having salary of 10 to 20K.
Perfect. Because everything is in the same row, this will give me all the records where the department is sales, and even in sales, the salary is between 10K to 20K. Okay, so let us see. Now my criteria is going to be D4 to I5. So it is giving me 15 records. So you can see that all the sales records where the salary is between 10K to 20K. So this way you can put the conditions on different rows or columns and get the result that you want. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just display the sales records by using advanced filters. It can be done using normal filters, but I want to show you something. So I'll display the sales records using advanced filters. So I'll go to advanced. List range is same. The criteria range, I'll select only department and the condition. That is from D4 to D5. And the moment I click on OK, it should show me all the sales records. 18 of 100 records. Okay. After this, if I change the department here, if I make it admin and press enter, it will not display the admin records. So if I want to see the admin records, again I need to go to advanced. The list range is going to remain same. Even the criteria range is going to remain same. I just need to click on OK. Only then it will get refreshed. So now you can see all the admin records. So your advanced filters is not dynamic like your normal filters. To make it dynamic, we'll take the help of macros. So when we see the topic of macros, then we'll see how the advanced filters can be made dynamic. Okay. So this much is clear, everyone. Limitation of normal filters, how to apply the advanced filters.
Amardeep, just one question regarding the salary part that you say, right? Say for example, if it is department for sales and the salary is between this to this, I mean, 10 to in between 10,000 and 20,000. What will happen if you use normal filter? If you can just show it once, it will be helpful.
In normal filters, it can be done.
Okay, that's what my question was. That okay, even if I take the range of 10,000 and 20,000 and also 30,000, 50,000, then
no,
also
that
it can be done, right?
No, that cannot be done in your normal filters. In a normal filter, either I can give the range that is between 10,000 to 20,000 or 30,000 to 50,000. Both is not possible.
Okay, so now say for example, if I go to normal filter in the salary, I filter all the numbers which falls in between 10,000 to 20,000, 30,000 to 50,000.
No, that is not possible, na? See, I'll just show it on the screen. This is our main data, right?
Okay.
Now suppose I go to salary, number filters, between, here I can specify only one range.
Got it.
10,000 and less than or equal to 20,000. Now where will I specify between 30 and 50K?
No, I was talking about manually. If you just, someone just pick the filter data. If the number are less, manually, if someone can just click on the drop down and can select the range.
Right.
So that way it can be done, right?
Means you apply the range 2 times.
Yeah. So like the way you have just select on the drop down, right? You just select the numbers down, which is there. Just a minute. If you can just click on the drop down once again. Yeah. So all the numbers are over here. So I will start selecting numbers from 10,000, then 11,375 likewise.
Fine. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. But here I have only say 100 records. Suppose you have some 1 lakh records.
That I understand. Yes, that I understand.
Yeah, this can be done. This can be done manually. Yes, of course.
Got it. But that's what I was asking. That the other option manually is there. It's not that manually someone will not be able to do it.
Yeah, that can be done.
Got it. Got it. That's what my question was.
Okay. But the whole idea is that you do your task in the shortest time possible.
Right. I'm just asking about if there is any other alternatives which are there.
Okay. If you have said just say some 5 or 10 records, you don't have to do your advanced filters. You can just do it manually also.
Right. I mean, hardly 30, 50 data if it is there.
Got it. Yeah. So this was about advanced filters. Fine. Now I'll see one more option, that is subtotals. Then we'll go for the actual macros training. come back to the main data sheet. Anyone knows what is a subtotal? You have a function called a subtotal as well as a feature called a subtotal. Anyone has an idea? What is the subtotal? What does the subtotal do? What does a subtotal function do? Just watch on the screen. Suppose I'm applying a filter and I display, let us say, the admin records. Okay, so I'm getting 10 of 100 records. Now suppose I keep my cell below the salary and I press Alt equal to. Alt equal to is a keyboard shortcut for summation. Now if I go back to the cell where I have applied the formula, you will see that it shows something like subtotal 9 and the range. Okay, the same thing, if I make it say subtotal 1 instead of 9, 1, it will give me the average. So we have a functionality, subtotal function, which can be used to get the average or the max or the min, the count of the records. Now what is the advantage here? The advantage is that subtotal function is dynamic. Now right now it is showing me the sum of salary paid to the admin department. Suppose I go to the department and I make it CCD. Instead of admin, I select CCD. And you will see that it automatically changes the sum also. So this is the sum of salary paid to the CCD department. So subtotal function
What is
is
the
done.
yeah, sir? Sorry to interrupt. What is the shortcut key you have said, sir?
Alt equal to.
Alt equal to. Okay.
See, if you don't apply a filter and you press Alt equal to, it will give you the sum. For example, here, suppose I have some values here. And if I want to sum it, if I want to have a summation of all these values, one method is, of course, you can use a function called as sum, or you can go to the home tab, click on the summation symbol, or you press Alt equal to. Alt equal to is a keyboard shortcut for summation. So if I use a Alt equal to, when there are no filters, it is going to give you a sum. But if I use a Alt equal to, when a filter has been applied, then it uses the subtotal function. So here also I have applied Alt equal to. That will give me a function called as subtotal. If I type equal to subtotal, and you will see a drop down here. Okay, so 1 means it will give me the average of all the value that is in a range. 2 means count. Likewise, 5 means minimum, 4 means max. Okay, like that you can get all the values. And this is dynamic.
Hi
Now
Vijay. Vijay, kindly manage your
Yeah.
mute button properly.
Right.
It is getting unmuted so many times.
Yes.
Thank you. So subtotal is a function, and you also have a subtotal feature. Now we'll see about the subtotal feature. Now suppose I want to see the sum of salary paid to each department. That means I want to see how much salary is paid to the admin department, how much salary is paid to the CCD department, likewise finance, R&D. Then we have a feature called as subtotal. Before the subtotals are generated, it is mandatory that you sort the database. So if I want to find out how much salary is paid to each department, I should be sorting the database department wise. You can first watch on the screen, understand it, then you can try it on your own. So I will sort on the department A to Z. So the entire database will be sorted. Then I'll click on the data tab. On the stream right hand side, there is option called as subtotal. The subtotal function is, the subtotal feature is inside a group called as outline. Now in my screen, you will see that outline is compressed. Okay, but you will be getting it as expanded. So in outline group, there is option called as subtotal. The moment I click on subtotal, you will get a window like this. Now it is saying, add a change in EMP code. Now I don't want the sum of salary to be calculated when the employee code is changing. I want the sum of salary to be calculated when the department is changing. So in this option, add a change in, I'll click on the drop down and select department. That means when the department is changing, give me the function sum, and the sum has to be added to the salary. By default, the last column of your database will be checked. Now suppose you have a column like PAN card number. So that will be checked by default. So in that case, you need to manually uncheck and check the values whose total you want. Okay. So in this case, in our database, salary is the last column. So that is by default getting checked. Then the moment I click on OK, you'll see that when the department is changing from admin to CCD, I get the sum of salary paid to the admin department. Okay. If I scroll down, I get CCD total. Likewise, I also get the grand total. If I go to the end, and select DPT. But I change in department. Function should be sum. Make sure salary is checked.
Amar, sorry to interrupt you. Just last 2 minutes, there was a problem with your audio or mic, something I believe. Could you please repeat? It will be helpful for the people. Or it was for me, I don't know, because I heard that it was not clear. So you can repeat for that. Yeah.
First, to sort on the database, on the department. Done, everyone? Sort the database on the department. Then click on data. On the extreme right hand side, in the outline group, select subtotal. When you click on subtotal, you should get a window like this. Click on the drop down of add a change in and select DPT. Function should be sum and check salary. By default, salary will be checked. Then just click on OK. Getting this, everyone?
Yes.
Now here you'll see that
Yes.
when the department, yeah. See, anytime you have any doubts or difficulties, you can always interrupt me and ask for more clarification, or if I want, I will repeat it once again. Thing is that, okay, and one more thing is that, is the pace okay? If I'm going too fast, I can slow it down. The pace is fine, everyone. Hello.
Yeah, this is okay.
So here you can see that when the department is changing from admin to CCD, you get the sum of salary paid to the admin department. Likewise, if I scroll down, you also get the grand total also. Okay, fine. And if I go down, get the grand total also, right? I'll also notice that below the name box, you can see some numbers, 1, 2, 3. These are called as the outline numbers. Suppose I click on 1, it will show me only the grand total. If I click on 2, it will show me department-wise total. Okay. And if I click on 3, it is going to display records. Now, if I click on 2, it is showing the department-wise totals. You can also see there are some plus symbols on the left-hand side below the outline numbers. Now, suppose I want to see the details of the admin department. I just need to click plus sign that is for the admin department, and you will see all the details of the admin department. If I click on the minus symbol, it will collapse. So plus will always expand, minus will collapse. Likewise, if I want to see the details of finance, I'll click on the plus symbol of the finance department. Okay. Manikandan will take a break. This is it started at 10 o'clock, right? So I was thinking of giving a break around 11:45, 12. Is it fine? We take a break at 11:45, 12, or you want a break now?
$11:45 would be fine, I think.
Pardon?
11:45 would be fine.
Yeah, but Manikandan wants a break now. Right, Manikandan? Is it okay? We take a break at 11:45. Fine. Huh. So here you can see we are getting a summarized report, department-wise total, right? Now suppose my boss asks me to send the report, to send this particular report. So can I just copy this? He wants a summarized report. So can I just copy and paste it in a new sheet? Let us see. Control C. Then I will insert a blank sheet and paste it. But when I paste it, you will see that the entire data is getting pasted. It is pasting even the data that is in the hidden rows and columns. Even paste special values will not work. So what I need to do is once I select the data, okay, once I select the data, I'll press Control G. Okay, once I select the data that I want to copy, I'll press Control G. Control G, then click on Special. When I click on Special, it will open up one more window, and from here I will select Visible Cells only. Then click on OK. Then copy it, go to the blank sheet and paste it. And you'll see that only the data that was visible on the screen is pasted. So what does this particular option do? Going to the special, it will select only the visible cells. That means data in hidden rows and hidden columns will not be copied and pasted. Now, selecting the data, then pressing Ctrl G, special, visible cells, is a long cut. We also have a shortcut for this. Once you select the data, you press Alt semicolon. Alt semicolon is a shortcut for selecting the visible cells. Then Ctrl C, go to the other sheet and paste it. Okay. To remove the subtotals, again go to data. Make sure your cell is anywhere inside the main database. Data subtotal, and then and the subtotals will be removed. Clear, everyone?
Could you please repeat again about the, pasting and copying? Because I'm getting the
Yeah.
whole data. Could you just please repeat it?
Yeah, I'll do it. So when you press Alt semicolon, you should get some white lines as borders in the data. That means it is selecting one of the visible cells. Once you select it, you press Alt semicolon. And after that, when you press Control C, you will get this dotted lines in every row. That means the Alt semicolon is active. Okay, Alt semicolon, then Control C, then insert a new sheet, and then paste it.
Yes, got it.
Now I want all of you to generate a subtotal which will show me region-wise report. Right now we are getting department-wise report. Instead of that, I want you to generate region-wise report and copy and paste the region-wise report on a new sheet. Can you try this, everyone?
Yes.
Region-wise report.
After Alt semicolon, how do we paste the data?
Alt semicolon, then Control C.
Control C. Okay, and then Control
Copy
V.
करने के लिए Control C.
And then Control
Correct,
V
correct.
for pasting. Okay, thank you.
Right, right. हाँ. Alt semicolon सिर्फ visible cells
Can
को
you do one?
select करने के लिए. Yeah, I'll do that. See, now suppose I want region-wise totals. First, I need to sort the region. So select a cell in the region column A to Z. Then go to data, subtotal. Now it will be a change in region. Function will be sum. And the salary should be checked. Then the moment you click on OK, you will see when the region is changing from east to north, you get the sum of salary paid to the east region. Likewise, north region, and also get the grand total. Now to display the region-wise subtotals, I click on 2, the number 2. Then select the range that you want to copy. Alt semicolon. Semicolon is on the right hand side of L. Okay. Then Control C. Then insert a new sheet and paste it.
Yeah. So we can't, without alt semicolon, we can't drag it and select it and copy paste it. It won't work. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
It is
Hello.
having some network issues.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes,
now
sir.
only.
Yeah. Parag, did you just join now?
Yes, Prabhas, around 5 to 10 minutes earlier.
Okay, okay, fine. Parag, you must have
Yes.
received some files, Excel VBA training files. You need to download that.
Yes, I have downloaded that. In that, one more
Huh.
folder is there, assignment in fin data
Yeah,
something.
there is a file called as Excel.
Sorry, your voice is cracking. I have opened that Excel VBA.
Is there anyone? All, can you hear us? Because I'm not hearing.
I think Amaldeep is having some audio issues. Not be speaking, but
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Discuss about subtotals and advanced filters. Now, if you have a blank sheet, just select it, or you can insert one. Select the blank sheet. Now, suppose I want to create a letterhead. Now, when I'm creating a letterhead, I want some formattings to be applied on that. For example, the letterhead should be bold. It should have a size of, say, 24. Then it should have some font color. It should have a fill color. It should be in the center. Have a border. Now, after whenever I create a letterhead, I want all these formattings to be applied on that. Now, after say 6 months or 1 year, I might forget the formattings. So what I'll do is, I'll store all the formattings in a single key, and when I press that single key, all these formattings will automatically one by one. And this is macros. So macros are mainly used to automate repetitive tasks. Macros are used to automate repetitive tasks. Now, for example, suppose you are creating a report on a weekly or a monthly basis. And for creating a report, let us say you are taking data from multiple sheets, consolidating it, and then creating a pivot out of that. For the whole process, let us say it takes you 2 hours. The same thing, if you record in a macro, it can be done within 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Macros can be either recorded or you can also write a macro. Whenever the macros are recorded, on the background, some programming statements are automatically generated, which are in a language called as Visual Basic or VB. Fine. Now I'll just show you how a simple macro can be recorded. You understand it, then you try it on your own. Because macros can be destructive also. Suppose when I record a macro, I accidentally delete some data. Then what will happen? When you run the macro, the data will get deleted. So you should be very careful when you are recording a macro. Even a false step will be recorded in the macro. Fine. So just watch on the screen, understand it, then try it on it. I want the letterhead on the same location, that is A1. So I'll keep my cell there in A1. And to record a macro, again you have different methods. One method is you click on the View tab, click on the drop down of macros on the extreme right hand side, and select Record Macro. So when you click on Record Macro, you will get a window like this. This is one method. Or the other method is, you can see on the bottom, we have these sheet names. Below the sheet names, there is icon next to that ready on the left bottom. You have icon. Even this can be used to record a macro. If you're not getting this icon, that can be displayed by right clicking on this taskbar and select macro recording. So either you can click on that icon or you can also go to View, Macros, Record Macro. Once I click on that option, I'll get a window like this. Looking for the macro name. Now when you're giving a macro name, there are some rules to be followed. The macro name should not have any space. Should not have spaces. For example, if I want to give the macro name as letterhead, I can't write letter space head. That is not allowed. However, if I want to give two words for a macro, I can use the underscore, but no space is allowed. Okay, you can say letterhead underscore head. And macro names should not be function names. You can't name a macro as VLOOKUP because VLOOKUP is already a function in Excel. If you name a macro as a function name, then what will happen is, suppose I name a function as VLOOKUP, then what will happen is, when I write equal to VLOOKUP, the macro function will run instead of the inbuilt Excel function. So function name should not be used. Macro names should not begin with a numerical value. For example, I can't give the macro name as 1. You can have a numerical value in between or in the end, but it should not begin with a numerical value. Okay. than this, you can give any generic name for a macro. I'll copy and paste it in the chat box. Okay. Now I'll keep my cell on A1. Then click on macro recording. I'll give the name as letterhead without any space. Then it is asking for a shortcut. Now almost all the shortcuts with a control, it is already defined in Excel. Like Control A, Control I, Control U, Control B. Suppose I use a shortcut as A here, it is going to override the shortcut of your Excel application. So to prevent that, your shortcut for a macro should be a combination of Control and some other key like Shift. Now suppose I want to give the shortcut key as Control Shift A. Since Control is already present here, I'll just press Shift A and the shortcut becomes Control Shift A. Fine. You don't have to press Control. You just press Shift A. Then by default, the macro will be recorded in the current one. Then here you can give a description as to what this particular macro does. Now the moment I click on OK, the recording will start. After that, whatever steps I do will be recorded in the macro. Once I do all the steps, I need to stop the recording. Once I stop the recording, after that, whenever I press Ctrl Shift A, this macro is going to run automatically. Okay? The concept is clear, everyone?
Yes.
Fine. Now the moment I click on OK, the recording will start. Now first I will click on A1 because that is where I want the letterhead, and then I'll type some text. And apply some formatting. I will merge and center it. Increase the size. Make it bold. Change the font color. So all this formatting I am doing, it is getting recorded. Then once I do all the formattings, I need to stop the recording. Now for stopping the recording, again I can go to View, Macros, Stop Recording, or I can click on this icon also. Okay, even that will stop the recording. Now the recording has stopped. Now suppose I want to run the same macro in a different shade. I'll just press Ctrl Shift A and you'll see that the macro has run. Okay. Now I'll do it once again. You can do it along with me. Select a blank sheet. Make sure your cell is at A1. Then go to View, Macros, Record Macro. We'll get a window like this. Give any name. I'm giving the name header with no space. Then a shortcut key. Click on OK. Now the recording has started. First you click on A1. Click on A1. Type some text. Merge and center it. Increase the size. Make it bold. Once you are done the formatting, we need to stop the record. For stopping the recording, again you go to View, Macros, Stop recording. Now to check whether the macro is running without any error, try it on a different sheet. Insert one more sheet and you press the shortcut. Okay. Now I told you earlier that whenever you record a macro, on the background, some programming statements are automatically generated. Now suppose I want to see the programming statements. Again, there are multiple methods. One method is right click on any sheet and you select view code. Okay, right click on any sheet and you select view code. That is one method. The second method is you click on view, macros, view macros, and you will get a window like this, which will display all the macros that has been either recorded or written. Select the macro whose statement you want to see and click on edit. The moment you click on edit, you will get an interface like this. This interface is called as a Visual Basic Editor, VBE. So this is called as a Visual Basic Editor.
Can you repeat the last?
I'll do it. See, when you record a macro, some programming statements are automatically generated. Suppose I want to see the programming statements. One method is you right click on any sheet and you select view code.
Okay.
That is one method. Or you click on the view tab, click on the drop down of macros, view macros, and you'll get the window here which will show list of macros. Select the macro whose statement you want to see and click on edit. Now,
Okay.
when you go to the Visual Basic Editor, sometimes you will get a gray screen like this. Just watch on the screen first. You might get something like this. So in this case, there is no need to panic. To display the windows, you go to View. You have a menu on the top, right? File, Edit, View. So you click on View and you click on Project Explorer. So this window that you see, this is called as the Project Explorer. What is the Project Explorer display? All the sheets that is present in the workbook and a folder called as modules. Whenever you record a macro or write a macro, it is stored in modules. Modules are nothing but containers of the programs. So they are stored in a folder called as modules. And if I click on the plus symbol, it will show me module 1. Tomorrow when I record one more macro, it will come as module 2, module 3. So the module folder can have any number of modules. There is no limitation. Each module can have a collection of programs. It can have any number of programs. So this is the first window that is called the Project Explorer. Then again you go to View and click on Properties window. So the second window that you see, that is called as the Properties window. The Properties window will display the properties of any object that you have selected. For example, if I click on Sheet 1, you can see all the properties of Sheet 1. We can also change the properties. For example, if I want to make the sheet invisible, if I want to hide it, then you can change the visible property of the sheet. So it will be hidden in your workbook. The properties windows are mainly used when you create a user form. When you design a user form, at that time, the properties window will be used extensively. Okay? Now I told you that all the programs or the macros that you are recording are stored in a folder called as modules, and they are named as module 1, module 2, module 3. Suppose I have multiple modules, and if I want to see the programming statement of a particular module, what you do is you just double click on that module. The moment I double click, it will be displayed in this bigger window. This bigger window is called as a code window. So Visual Basic Editor has three main windows. The first one is called as the Project Explorer. The second is called as the Properties window. And the third and the large one is called as a code window. I'll copy and paste it in the box. This much is clear, everyone?
Yes,
we
sir.
recorded a macro, right? And then we saw how to display the Visual Basic Editor. Now in this code window, you can see that what are steps I did has been converted into a programming statement. Now, a subroutine, we'll come back to that subroutine and functions later. But for the timing, understand that whenever you record a macro, it will be always recorded in between something called as sub, SUB. Sub stands for subroutine. So in the start, you have a sub, and if I scroll down, you get a end sub. So always your programming statements will be written in between the sub and the end sub. Sub simply means subroutine. It is short for subroutine. So first is sub. That means it tells me that it is a subroutine, and then you have the name of the macro. So if you remember, I had given the name as letterhead, the first macro. So that name is displayed here. Then my keyboard shortcut was Ctrl Shift A. So if you forget the keyboard shortcut that you are given, you can always come to this Visual Basic Editor and see the shortcut. Then I selected the cell A1. So this particular statement has come, range A1 dot select. Then I typed the string Excel for all. Then I selected the range A1 to F1. So you can see this particular statement has been generated. Then I merged it. So this is a statement for merging. Then I selected the font as Arial. The size is 20. So every step I did has been converted into a programming statement. Okay. Now suppose my boss says the letter size should be 24, not 20. So instead of recording a macro again, I can come to this Visual Basic Editor and see where is the size statement, and here I will make it 24. Right? Then I am going to minimize this window. Now when I run the macro again, it should give me the size as 24. Now you can see the size is 24. So we can also record a macro and customize it according to our needs, provided you have a knowledge of Visual Basic. You can't randomly go anywhere and make the changes. Fine. Whenever you have any macros recorded or written, the file has to be saved as a macro enabled workbook. What is the normal extension of Excel sheet? Dot XLSX. Okay. The macro enabled sheet has a extension of .xlsm. You need to save the file as a macro enabled workbook. If you don't save the file as a macro enabled workbook, then all the macros that you have either recorded or written will be lost. So before we continue, we'll save the file as a macro enabled workbook. So for that, you click on File. If you open the Visual Basic Editor, you can just close it. If you have the Visual Basic Editor, just click on that main cross button and you'll come back to the Excel sheet. Okay. Then you go to File, Save As. If you have created a folder, you can save it in that folder. And here we'll keep the name, same file name. Only the save as type will be click on the drop down and you select Excel macro enabled workbook .xlsm. Then click on save. Now when you save it as a macro enabled workbook, after that, if I go to that folder, you will see two files with the same name. I hope you can see my screen. Now this is the folder when I saved the file. You can see there is one Excel VBA with .xlsx, that is a Excel workbook, and we have one more file with the same name, but the extension is XLS. Now to find out which one is a macro enabled workbook, there are again multiple methods. One method is you look at the extension or you look at the type. In that type you will see it is showing Microsoft Excel macro enabled worksheet. So that is a macro file. Or if you display the list as icons, anything with the exclamation mark is a macro enabled workbook. You can see here there is a exclamation mark, that is a macro enabled workbook. Okay. Even by looking at the exclamation mark, you will come to know whether it is a macro-enabled workbook or a normal workbook. From now on, we'll be working on this macro-enabled workbook. This much is clear, everyone? Any doubts, any difficulties?
Amardeep, just one question. If you can just help out once again, how do you enable that particular programming interface? You go to the Microsoft the VBA tool. After that, if you can just help me with the steps.
Which one? Visual Basic Editor?
Editor, yeah. So where you are editing the coding codings basically.
You have recorded a macro, right?
Right. I'm going.
Have you recorded
view,
a macro?
Yeah. I'm going to view and I have select on edit macros. After that, the interface opened where we can edit the programming language as well.
Right. Then you close the Visual Basic Editor.
No, I just wanted to know from where the programming tool is opening. Yeah, this interface.
So you go to click on View. Click on View.
Okay.
Click on the drop down of macros. View macros.
Right.
You are getting a window.
Right, over here edit.
You select the macro which you want to edit and click on edit.
Right.
So you are getting this interface.
Right. I'm not getting this
now,
interface directly.
Okay, what are you getting?
Yeah,
are you getting a gray area?
Gray area, right.
So double click on that module 1. Double click on that.
Done.
Double click on that module 1 and you should see these statements here.
Right.
Now you go to the size statement. If you scroll down, if you have selected the size, you will get a size statement. There you can make the changes. Close the Visual Basic Editor and again run the macro.
So when we are closing it, do we have to save it or something like that, or automatically it gets saved? Say for example,
once you save it as a macro-enabled workbook. Once you save it as a macro-enabled workbook, after that you just need to press Ctrl S.
Got it.
And if you have not saved it, and if you are not, if you are not saved it, and when you save and when you close the Excel application, it will ask, do you want to save it or not?
That I understood. So when I am closing Microvisual Basics for application, that particular application, when I am closing, I don't have to save it or something like that, right? Automatically, if I'm making any changes in the size or the font size.
Yeah. It won't because still we are not saved it as a macro-enabled workbook.
Got it. That I
once
just
you
want
save it as a macro-enabled workbook, after that you can just click on Ctrl S or you can click on that floppy icon to save the changes. When you are closing the Visual Basic Editor, it will not ask whether you want to save it or not, because Visual Basic Editor is an integral part of your Excel application.
Okay.
If you have closed that window, it will not ask whether you want to save it or not. So you need to save it manually by pressing Ctrl S.
Got it. That is.
It is just a window that you are closing.
Amar, sorry to interrupt you over here. Since Avitaj asked a question, I would like to continue with that. On behalf of all the rest of the participants, they may come across this kind of situation. Could you please go to that Microsoft Visual Basic Application editor of this file?
Hello.
Yeah, Vishnu, I can hear
Hello.
you. Yeah, I can hear you. Amar is having some issues with the mic. Probably he's checking that. Let's come back.
Hello.
Yes, Amar, I can hear you.
हाँ
नहीं मैं ये बोल रहा था on behalf of all the participants, I would like to put a question so that it will be also giving information for them. Is could you please open that VBA editor one more time?
हाँ. You want me to open Visual Basic Editor?
Yes, you please open that same file
Ah.
what you showed to Abhidip the other time. You please open that one more time.
Yeah, done.
Right. So there was a concern over here that if this kind of window doesn't appear, it entire screen becomes green or gray color, something like that. So I would request you please close this VBA project properties and as well as this model window entirely. All these three windows you please close. Yes, you please tell them why they get this kind of window screen. Not to be panic. How to activate all these three? You please just give a glance of that so that it will be informative for them.
Yeah, this was already explained. Suppose you get a window like this, which is grayed out. Then to display the windows, you go to View and click on Project Explorer. So this is the first window that is displayed.
Right.
The Project Explorer will display.
Right.
Yeah, the Project Explorer will display all the sheets that is present in the workflow. Okay, this is the first window, primary window. Then again you go to View and click on Properties window. I think this was already explained, right?
Okay. I'm not sure whether it has been explained or not. That's why I thought since Abhidipta was asking, so it should be explained over there so that it will be kind of information for them. Anyway, if you have already covered, well and good. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, Prabhas, it was
Now to display the third window, that is
not coming.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's why I
Abhidipta.
just asked to repeat once again.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay,
No
fine. So the third window, that is a code window, that is a larger window. To display that, we just double click on any module. See, when you have multiple modules, how will the Visual Basic Editor know that which is the module that is to be displayed to you? So if you just select the module, the code will not be displayed. So you need to select the module and double click on it. When you double click on it, Visual Basic will understand that this is the module that is to be displayed. Okay. Just to select it and it will not be displayed. You need to double click on it. And the code will be displayed on the code. So So this much is clear, everyone. These are the very basics, the foundation of Visual Basic. So if you're not clear here, the other topics will be very, confusing.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Vijay.
Sir, I wanted to ask, like, whatever like Visual Basic enable file you have created, that file you can call up from that particular file itself or any other Visual Basic enabler file? Hello?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
coding will
see.
be restricted to that particular file, or I can have another Visual Basic enabler file and I can refer this coding there also. Will it be possible?
Yeah, we can refer. Yeah, we can refer this particular macro in a different workbook, and that different workbook doesn't necessarily have to be.
Okay.
Yeah, this workbook also, and that workbook, new workbook, doesn't necessarily have to be Visual Basic enabled. It can be a normal Excel workbook also.
There also you can call this.
Only thing is that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, only thing is that the workbook on which you have this macro recorded or written should be open. Okay. Now, for example, here, we have this macro which is displaying the letterhead. Now, suppose I want the same macro to run in a different workbook. I'll press Control N. Now, this is a new workbook. You can see on the top, book 1. And if I press Control Shift A, the same macro will run here.
Okay.
Now, this new book, it is not macro enabled.
Okay, but it can run here.
But still, the macro will run, provided the workbook on which you have the macro is open.
Okay,
that
so both sheets should be open.
Both sheets should be open, right?
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So now save the file, everyone. We'll take a short break, 10 minutes. Now it is almost 12:05. We'll again resume at 12:15. Then we'll see the remaining topics of macros. Fine with everyone?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
10 minutes. We'll again resume at 12:15.
Okay.
Hi, is everyone back? Okay. So before the break, we are seeing how to record a simple macro, as well as we saw how the Visual Basic Editor is, the details about the interface of Visual Basic Editor, right? Now, this macro that you are recorded, it is a simple macro. Now let us see how your macro can be recorded on your database. What we'll do is, we'll record a macro which will automatically sort the database and then generate the subtotals on the department, copying only the department-wise totals to a new sheet. Okay, whatever we did earlier using the manual method, the same thing we are going to record in a macro. Before you record a macro, it is strongly recommended that you do all the steps manually, write down the steps, and follow the same steps when you're recording a macro. That way, the errors will be very minimum. So before we record a macro for generating the subtotals, what we'll do is we'll write down the steps first. Okay. So what will be the steps for generating a subtotal? The first step is start the recording. Right. Once you start the recording, we need to sort the database on department. So sort on department. Select data subtotal. So this will display that subtotal window. Then add a change in. You need to select the option DPT. When the department is changing, I want the function sum and it should be added to the salary, right? So salary should be checked. Then when I click on OK, it should give me the subtotal. The subtotal will be generated. Now, how do you display the department-wise total? You select the outline number 2. This will display the department-wise total. And select the data. And then you Alt semicolon. Fine. Then copy the data. Then insert a sheet. then paste. Now even the process of removing the subtotals can be recorded in the macro. So select main data, remove the subtotals, and then stop the macro. So these steps are required to generate the macro for subtotals. Okay, I'll copy and paste it in the chat. Now if you can just watch on the screen and then you can try it on your own. I select the main data, select any cell in the department column, and then I start the recording first. I'll give the name, say report, shortcut key, I'll get as Control Shift R. Then the moment I click on OK, the recording will start. So first I need to go to data. For sorting on the department, I'll click on this sort button instead of clicking on A to Z. So sort by region, sort by department. Click on OK. Then select subtotal. Now all these steps are getting recorded in the macro. How do you change in DEPT? Click on OK. Then click on the outline number 2. Select the data. Now for selecting the data, I'm using Control Shift down arrow, right arrow. You should not drag it with the mouse, because the moment you drag it with the mouse, the range will get hard coded in the program. And tomorrow, suppose, so in this case, suppose I drag it with the mouse, it becomes from D1 to H101, 110. Okay. Now tomorrow, suppose the range changes, and then this department wise total might go up to, let us say, H120. So in that case, if you hard code it, it will select only the range that is up to H110. So always when you select the data, you press Control Shift down arrow, right arrow. That means no matter whether the range increases or decreases, this combination will select the whole data. Then Alt semicolon. Select the visible cells. Control C to copy. Shift F11. Insert a blank sheet and then paste it. Then come back to the main data. Select subtotal and remove it. Now I need to stop the recording. So I'll go to View, Macros, Stop Recording. Okay. Now when the macro was generated, when the macro was recorded, it had generated a sheet called as Sheet 2, which has the department-wise total. I'll just remove that. Now, anytime my boss says, send me the report, I'll just need to press Control Shift R, and you'll see that the report is automatically generated. It did not take even a second. Okay, so you don't have to do all the steps again and again. Once you record the steps, you just press the shortcut key and the stress will be automatically generated. So I'll do it once again.
So
along with.
just one question. So if the report is dynamic, say for example, everyday status report comes, okay, and instead of repeating the steps, I mean, if we copy the status report in this particular format over here, will it automatically generate it?
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
Only thing is that the format should be the same.
Format should be same. Okay.
So I will do it once again. Now you can do it along with me. Select the main data. Then start the macro recording. Click on view, macros, record macro. Give any name here. I'm giving the name reports. Any shortcut key. Then click on OK. Now the recording has started. First you go to data. Click on the sort button. Sort by department. Now, what I would suggest is that whenever you want to sort, especially when you are recording a macro, always go to data and click on that sort button. You can also click on A to Z or Z to A, but sometimes what will happen is if this particular option is not checked. Now in this window you can see on the right top you have option my data is header, that is checked. By chance if it is not checked, then what Excel will do is it will even sort the header in between the records. So to avoid that, always come to this sort button, make sure this particular option is checked, my data is headers, then you sort it. Okay. So once you click on subtotal, select subtotal, add a change in DEPT, function should be sum, and make sure it is checked to the salary and click on OK. Once the subtotal is generated, we need to display the department wise total. So click on the outline number 2, select D1, Control Shift, down arrow, right arrow. So then entire data will be selected. Then Alt semicolon to select the visible cells. Control C to copy the data.
Sir, yeah. Actually, here the question I was asked in earlier also. If I directly without selecting Alt plus semicolon, directly I can select and Control C means what will happen?
If I directly select Control C,
yeah,
it will copy even the data that is in the hidden rows and columns.
Oh, okay.
We need only the visible cells. We need only the data which is visible on the screen. So that is why we are pressing Alt semicolon.
Okay, got it.
Then Control C, Shift F11 to insert a blank sheet and then paste it. Then come back to the main data. Come back to the main data. Make sure your cell is inside the main database. Then you go to subtotal. and then remove all. Then you stop the recording. View, macros, stop recording. Now to run the macro, keep your cell anywhere in the main database. It should be inside the main database. Then you press the shortcut. So in my case, it is Ctrl+Shift+R. The moment I press it, automatically you will see that the report is generated. When you run the macro, you should make sure that the cell is inside the database. Suppose it is somewhere. If you have selected a blank cell, and if you run the macro, it is going to generate an error. That is because to generate the report, the subtotal report, Excel needs some data, and the data is coming from this database. So if you are selecting a blank cell, Excel will not understand from which database it has to generate the data, because that is a blank. So that is why it is going to give error. Also, you should not run the subtotal from a blank sheet. Suppose I go to a blank sheet, and then if I run the subtotal macro here, it will still generate error because it is not finding the data from which the subtotal has to be generated. So you should always keep your cell inside the main data, then you run the subtotal. Okay. Just run it and see whether you are getting it without any error. Running fine for everyone?
Yeah, Amardev. Amardev, just one question. So in this particular case, so if you have to create multiple cut files location wise, say if you have east, west, south and north, right? And from this we have one main sheet, and from that we have to prepare cut sheet based on the location. So in that case,
right.
What is the way out? Like how we are going to create a macro which will help me to provide 4 different location wise Excel file?
Yeah, I am coming to that. Now this is working fine, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can I give 2 minutes?
Vijay, Tanvi, Parag.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, Manigan.
How to go to the stopping the recording? Just repeat once. And one more question. If during the recording, if we understand that we have made a mistake, what do we do?
If you have made a mistake, that will be recorded in the macro. Okay. So one method is you undo it. You undo it. Okay. Or you stop the recording and then you edit it. Or you can also record a macro from that step onwards and call that macro in the earlier one.
And the first question, I missed that part wherein, after getting the result, how do we stop the recording before going to the main data?
Once you copy that department wise total in a sheet, you click on the main data. Keep your cell anywhere inside the main database. Okay, I'll show it again. So you can see the department wise total. Press Alt semicolon, Control C, insert a sheet, paste it, then come back to the main data, go to outline, subtotal, and click on remove. On the bottom you have a remove button. Just click on that and this subtotal will be removed. Then you stop the recording.
Fine, thanks.
So how do you go to the subtotal macro? How do you go to the Visual Basic Editor? You click on View, Macros, View Macros. And in my case, you can see there are 3 macros here. I will select the reports macro and click on Edit. So this is the statement that was generated when the subtotal macro was recorded. Okay. Now here you can see that.
Sir, in the subtotal for the department, I am just summing up. So I need to give add subtotal to only salary, right?
Right. By default, the salary will be checked.
Yeah.
Because that is the last column. It will be by default checked. Just click on OK. Then you click on the outline number 2. You want me to show it once again?
No, I will just show it. My screen is visible.
Okay.
See, so you did not. Like this, yeah.
Wait. I will come to that. You did not sort on the department. That is why you are getting multiple totals for the same department. Can you see admin total? Again down, you have one more admin total. You have repeated sales total. That is because you did not sort the database. Okay. So first you sort on the department. If you want, you can do it manually first. Then you do the same thing when you're recording it. Anyway, which is more comfortable to you. Click on the drop down of sort by. Click on the drop down of that. Department. Click on OK. Okay. Now you go to subtotal. Now you click on subtotal.
Yeah. Department sum salary.
Correct. Now you click on the outline number 2. Below the name box, click on that number 2.
Yeah.
Then select D1.
Yes.
And press Control Shift down arrow. Now you press Alt semicolon. I hope you have pressed Alt semicolon. Now paste it. Alt semicolon, Control C.
Yeah.
Now paste it.
Yes. Now, yeah. Now I can off it.
Go back to. No. Now you go to the main data.
Okay.
Click on main data. Main data. Go to subtotal. And click on removal. Click on subtotal.
Okay. Now. View.
I think your subtotal is not removed.
Let's remove.
Fine. Now you stop the recording.
Okay.
Now in your case,
Yes.
In your case, because you had selected sheet 7, it is hard coded in your program. Okay.
Yes.
So you don't delete it. You don't delete that sheet 7. Just delete these values.
Which value?
The value that is in sheet 7. You delete it.
Okay.
Just delete the values. Don't delete the sheet.
Yeah.
Now you go back to main data.
Yes.
And you run the macro. Yeah, okay. Click on OK.
Okay, I got it.
Fine.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Now, if you go to that Visual Basic editor, you will see the statements as you can see on the screen. Okay. First is the name of the subroutine. It is called as reports. And then this is the shortcut Control-Shift-R. Then you can see that the sheet name is hard coded. The sheet name is main data. And we are telling it to sort on the department. D12, D2 to D101. That is getting sorted on values. You can see the order is ascending. And then if you come to the next line, it says dot set range A1 to H101. Okay. Now tomorrow, suppose your range changes. It has gone up to H150. Then one method is to capture that new range. I can come here and make it A1 to H150. That is absolutely right. But every time the range changes, I don't want to come to the Visual Basic editor and change the range. I want to make it dynamic. So what I'll do is, instead of A1 to H101, I'll make it as A to H. That means I am telling Excel that you select the range up to 10,48,576. Okay, A1 to H 10,48,576. So no matter in the future if the range changes, it becomes less or more, it will be automatically captured here. Okay. Then we are saying we have selected that option. My data is headers, so you are getting this option header dot equal to Excel yes. Then if I scroll down, I get the statement selection dot subtotal group by 4. Why group by 4? Because in our database the department is the 4th column and we are sorting on the department. That is why it is coming as group by 4. And the function is, we are using a sum function here. And total list array 8 means in my database there are 8 headers or 8 columns. Out of that we have grouped it by the 4th column. Then active sheet dot outline show levels equal to 2. So when you click on that outline number 2, this particular statement is generated. Then we are selecting the cell D1. So range D1 dot select. Then when you press Control Shift down arrow, right arrow, this statement is generated. Range selection dot and Excel down. When you press Alt semicolon, this statement will be generated. Selection dot special cells. Then we are copying, adding a sheet. When you add the sheet, this statement is generated. Sheets dot add. Then you are pasting it. Coming back to the main data. Then removing the subtotals. Okay. Now, I told you that by default it is hard coding the range. So I made the change here from A to H. Now after this, suppose I make any changes in database, it should be automatically captured, right? So right now we have 100 records. Now what I'll do is, I'll go to the main data. I will select the 100 records, copy it, and paste it after the last record. I just done a normal copy paste. So now my database has 200 records. Now when I run the subtotal macro, it should show me the double of what was displayed earlier. So when we had 100 records, the total was 15 lakhs 53,000, right? Now when I run this macro, it should give me more than 1 CR. No, sorry, 30 lakhs, right? 30 lakhs, 31 lakhs, some amount. So let us see. Control Shift R. And you can see here, it has become double of the previous value. Okay. Only thing you need to do is, instead of dot set range A1 to H101, you make it A to H.
By the way, we can also change from department also to region, right? By using this macros.
So in this case, there is no need to change the range of department, because you know that even if a single cell is selected in the department column, the entire column will be sorted. Okay, so even if you keep it like as it is, it won't make any change, or you can make it as D to D, even that will not make any difference. Getting this, everyone?
Sir, yeah, sorry. My question was other one. Now this macros we have done based on the department subtotal. If I want this total department to change to region, if I want to see the region subtotal or region-wise subtotal, we can also change by making use of this, right?
Yeah.
Selection
so that is what that is what I want you to do. Right now, this is giving me department-wise subtotal. Now, what changes should be done so that when I run the macro, I get region-wise subtotal?
Subtotal group by
what should be the
equal to 5.
What should be the sort range?
Sort
range should be what?
On region.
Instead of D2 should be?
Yeah, E2.
E2. Right. So wherever you have a D, make it a E. Set range will remain as it is.
Okay.
What will be grouped by?
5.
5. Perfect. Okay. And array will be 8. Instead of D1, it will be E1. Right. From E1, Control Shift, down arrow, right arrow. Other statements are going to remain same. Okay. Now if I run this, this should give me region-wise subtotals. Let us see. Control Shift R.
Okay.
Okay. Clear, everyone? Go on saving the file every 5-10 minutes. You never know when Excel will crash. Once you have saved it as a macro enabled workbook, just press Ctrl S. Whether you are in Visual Basic Editor or Excel sheet, you can press Ctrl X and the changes will be saved. Now, you have seen how we can assign a shortcut key to a macro, right? Now we can also assign macro to a button. It is also possible to create our own tabs. Like you can see on the top, we have all these tabs: home tab, insert, page layout. Likewise, we can also create our own tabs, customized tabs, and then we can assign the macro inside the tab also. Now, before we see how the macro can be assigned to your button, just check on your screen on your laptop whether you are getting a tab called as developer on the top. If you can see my screen, you will see that there is a developer tab next to that view. Just check whether you are getting a similar tab in your screen. If you are not getting it, I'll tell you how that can be displayed. Is everyone getting a developer tab on the top?
No, I don't have. Sorry.
Huh. See, those who don't have it, you can do this along with me. Click on File, come back to the Excel worksheet. Click on File, Options. Click on File, Options, Customize ribbon. Click on File, Options, Customize ribbon. Then on the right hand side, check Developer. I hope nobody is using 2007, because in 2007 the method is slightly different. This is from 2010 onwards.
Yes, I have found it.
Customize ribbon, check Developer, click on OK, and you should see one more tab called as Developer. Now, even if you have saved the file as a macro enabled sheet, even then some of the macros will not run. That is because, as I told you earlier, macros can be destructive. So Excel has an inbuilt feature which prevents the macros from running. Okay. So in that case, if you want all the macros to run without any notifications, what happens is when you try to run a macro, sometimes you will get a notification saying that macros are disabled. Do you want to enable content? Okay, so that is because by default, macros will not run automatically. If you want all the macros to run automatically, then what you do is click on the developer tab. Then on the extreme left hand side, the third option from the left hand side, there is option called as macro security. Click on macro security and you'll get a window like this. Developer tab, macro security, and you should make sure that it is enable VBA macros, the last option. By default, it will be disable VBA macros with notification. Okay, but since we want all the macros to run, we are checking this enable macros. Click on OK. File. Close it. And then again reopen it. Then all the macros will run automatically. Okay. Now the second recording that we are going to see is on the filter sheet. If you don't have the filter sheet, just create a copy of the main data. I think Parag joined late, so he must not be having this filter sheet. Parag, what you can do is you create a copy of the main data sheet, rename it as filters.
Okay.
And then create a structure like this. We had learned something like advanced filters. Okay, before you joined, you can go through the recording to understand about it, right? Now, others can also watch on the screen. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to record a macro for advanced filters. And the macro will be assigned to a button so that when I click on the button, automatically the filtering will take place. Be overcome with the help of macros. Okay, so first I will record a macro for doing advanced filters. Then I am going to assign it to a button. You just watch on the screen, understand it. Then you can write on your own. So I'll keep my cell anywhere in the main database. First I need to start the recording. So I'll go to View, Macros, Record Macro. I'll give a name here, say filters. I'm not going to give any shortcut key here because I'm going to assign the macro to a button. So just click on OK. The moment I click on OK, the recording will start. So I'll go to Data, Advanced. In the list range, make sure that the entire database is selected. And for the time being, I will select only the department and the condition. D4 to D5. Then the moment I click on OK, it should give me all admin records. Then I will stop the recording. View, macros, stop recording. Fine. Now I want to assign this macro to a button. So for that, for drawing the button, I'll click on the developer tab. When I click on the developer tab, almost at the center of the screen, you can see there is a insert option. If I click on the drop down of insert, it will show me two groups. One is form controls and the other is ActiveX controls. If I keep my mouse on that particular control, it will show me what that control is. So the first one is for a button. The second one, it is for a combo box. That is a drop down. Then we have check boxes, radio buttons. Now what I need is a button. So I'll click on the first option of form controls and draw the button like this. The moment I draw it, the moment I finish the drawing, Excel automatically asks me which is the macro that you want to assign. So I want to assign this filters macro. We can also edit this text. Instead of button 1, I can write it as say filters. Now you'll see that this particular button is selected. You can see the points across the border. To remove this selection, I'll just click anywhere outside the button and the selection will be removed. Okay. Now I will change the condition here. Instead of admin, I'll make it sales. And then the moment I click on this filters button, we'll see that it is displaying all sales records. I'll again change it to R&D. Then if I click on filters, the filter button will see all the R&D records are displayed. I'll do it once again. Now I can do it along with me. Select the filter sheet. Keep your cell anywhere in the main database. Then first we need to record a macro. So for that, go to View, Macros, Record Macro. Give a name. No need to give a shortcut key because we are going to assign the macro to a button. Then click on OK. Now the recording has started. So first we need to go to Data, Advanced. Make sure in the list range the entire database is selected. And in the criteria, select only department header and the condition. In my case, it is D4 to D5. Then click on OK. Once you get all the records, you need to stop the macro. So I'll go to View, Macros, Stop Recording. Now, why is the need to stop the macro? Once the records have been filtered, why should I stop the macro? What happens if I continue the recording?
It will again create the buttons, inserts.
Right. So what is the next step after this? The creation of the button. So if I don't stop the recording, what will happen is even the process of creating the button will be recorded in the macro. So every time you run the macro, new buttons will get created. Okay. So to prevent that, we need to stop the recording here. Then drawing the button is a separate process. So for that, you click on Developer. Click on the drop-down of Insert. Select the first option in Form Controls and draw the button. The moment you finish the drawing, Excel will ask me which is the macro that you want to assign. So I'll select Filters and click on OK. We can also edit it. Now you make the changes in the condition. And then click on the button. We can also assign the macro to a shape. Suppose I want to assign the macro to a shape. You click on Insert, Shapes, select any shape. You can also assign a macro to this particular shape. So for that, right click and select Assign Macro. Okay. This much is clear, everyone?
Yes, it's
Sir, why we are introducing shape here?
How did we?
Introduce the shape.
You go to insert.
No. Why we are introducing?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Actually, why we are introducing the shape here? To press it like a button, you are telling?
See, method is you can assign the macro to your button. That is one method. Or you can assign a macro to the shape also.
Okay.
Instead of a button, I can also use a shape for assigning the macro. So you must have seen that when I click on the shape, this Excel for all letterhead is getting displayed. I did not press Control Shift A.
Okay. No, if I assign the shape, then the press to filter button will be disabled, right?
No, because the press to filter is a different macro.
Oh, okay. It is for filter. This is for Excel for all, right?
Yeah, this is for Excel for all, right?
Okay.
And even if you can assign the same macro to the shape also. So either of them will work. You can click on this either shape, or you can click on press to filter. It will not get disabled.
Okay.
You can give multiple shortcuts to the same macro. I can give a shortcut key, as well as I can assign the same macro to your button, as well as assign the same macro to your shape also. Okay. So if I don't want to click on that press to filter button, I can also use a shortcut key also. Even that will work.
Okay.
Okay. Now you will see that when I click on this press to filter, I am getting, okay, my range has changed. 1 minute. So now my range is from A14 to 114, because that when I inserted that letterhead, the range has changed. This is from D7 to D8. Now, how will you go to the Visual Basic Editor? One method is you go to view macros, and then select the macro and click on edit. Right. So this is the filters macro that was generated when I recorded it. Now you should get only 2 statements here. Any extra statement, if you are getting it, you can safely remove it. There should be only 2 statements. Range, in my case, A14 to H114. It might be different in your case. And we are telling it to do advanced filter. And there is something called as criteria range. And the range is from D7 to D8. Unique equal to false. Fine. Now, suppose I write east. Okay, I'm writing east in the same row. So when it is in the same row, that means what? It is an AND functionality. So if I click on the button, it should give me finance east records. Now, will it give me finance east records? If I click on this button, will it give me finance east records? It won't.
We need to incorporate the range also, but no.
Correct. So we need to go to, so one method is we need to go to the Visual Basic Editor and change the range here. So I need to make it as D7 to E8. I hope that is E8. Okay, D7 to E8. Then it will give me finance east records. But every time the criteria changes, I don't want to go to Visual Basic Editor and change the range. I want even this advanced filters to be dynamic. So let us see how to make it dynamic. Go to the Visual Basic Editor. Now here in this range statement, you have criteria range equal to range D7 to D8. Either you'll get the actual address here, like D7 to D8 or D7 to E8, or you also get something called as filters exclamation mark criteria. Both are same. When you select the same range repeatedly, Excel will automatically name it as filters criteria. Filters criteria because the name of the sheet is filters and the condition is called as criteria. Okay, it won't make any difference. Either you will get it as address here or you will get as filters criteria. To make this more dynamic, what you do is select that range statement, range D7 to D8 or range filters criteria, and replace it with the word selection. Make the changes only in that particular range statement. Don't remove any comma, underscore, equal to sign, nothing. Just replace that range statement with the word selection. That means whatever is selected should be considered as the criteria range. Okay. Now I'll come back to the Excel sheet. Since we are given the statement as selection, I need to select the criteria first. So I'll click on this department region and select the condition. Now if I click on the button, it should show me finance east records. Suppose I select only region and east. Now my selection is region and east, and if I click on the button, it should show me all the east records. Suppose I select department and finance, it should show me all the finance records. So now my advanced filter has become more dynamic. Whatever I select will be considered as the criteria. Now I have selected finance east and the salary should be between 10,000 to 20,000. So I think there is only one record. Just make the change as selection. Okay. यहाँ तक clear everyone?
Yes.
Any doubts? Any difficulties? Okay. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to record a macro which will display Yeah, pivot table. Okay, I'll show you the pivot table that has to be generated. You can just watch on the screen. I've selected the main data. I'll do it manually first. You need to do the same thing by recording. Fine. So I want all of you to generate a pivot table, which will show me department wise salary, department wise salary, and region in the column, and the first name under the department. And all these blanks should be filled with 0. So I want you to generate this report by recording it in a macro. If you want, you can do it manually first and record the same thing in a macro. Can you try, everyone? Department wise, region wise, salary for employees, first name under the department. Okay, Ravi. I want others to record a macro which will generate the pivot table that I have shown. Once done, just tell me.
Yes, I've done it.
Huh. Now, run that macro once again and tell me if you are getting error.
No, I'm not getting any error.
Yes, I am getting it.
You're not getting any error?
No.
See, record a macro for generating the pivot table. So I am in the main data. I'll go to view, macros, record macro. I'll give the name as pivot report. And I'm giving a shortcut key, say Shift P, click on OK. Now the recording has started. So I'll go to Insert, Pivot Table. I want department wise, name wise, region wise, salary. And then right click, pivot table options. For empty cells, type 0, click on OK. And then remove this and then stop the recording. So I'll go to view, macros, stop recording. Fine. Now, if I want to generate the same pivot, I'll press Control Shift P and it will generate an error. So if I click on debug, if I click on end, the macro will stop and come to this main sheet. And if I click on debug, it will go to our program and it will highlight that area which generated the error. Okay. Now to remove this highlight, you can see some portion of this program is getting highlighted in a yellow color. To remove this highlight, when you're on the Visual Basic Editor, you click on the reset button. Now, if you look at the after this menu, you can see that there is a standard toolbar. The standard toolbar, you have this floppy disk symbol, then you have the undo symbol, right? And you have a play button, you have a pause button, and you have a stop button. That stop button is reset. So to remove this highlight, you click on this reset. So that highlight will be removed. If your program has any error, then that statement which has error, that will be highlighted in a yellow color. So it has an error here. There is some error in this particular statement. That is why it is getting highlighted. So let us see what is the error here. So first we have this name of the subroutine. It is pivot report. Then this is the shortcut. Then it is adding a sheet. Now you see here that when we recorded the subtotal macro, we add a sheet manually. Shift F11. So every time the subtotal macro runs, it will add the sheet manually. But in this case, when I generate the pivot table, it is automatically adding a sheet. I did not press Shift F11. But when you go to that pivot table, it is automatically generated on a new sheet by default, right? So that is why you are getting this sheets.add. So every time you run a macro, it will add a sheet. So here you can see that this is a sheet where the pivot was generated when I recorded the macro. That is sheet 6. But you will see that one more sheet has been generated, sheet 7. Fine. But when you come to the statement here, you will see that it is saying active workbook, pivot, source data. Source data is main data. And this is the range R1C1 to R201 because I have 200 records in my database. And then it is saying create a pivot table. And you can see that table destination is sheet 6. Okay. We are adding a sheet and that sheet is sheet 7. But I am telling that the table destination should be sheet 6. And in sheet 6, you already have a pivot. That is why it is giving a error. Now, I don't want a sheet to be added again and again. Every time I run a pivot table, I don't want the sheet to be added. So I will remove this particular statement. Okay. Now the next thing is I want this existing pivot table to be cleared. I don't want any pivot on the sheet number 6. So what I'll do is in the start, in the beginning, I'll write sheet. And what is our sheet name? It is sheet 6. Sheet 6 dot select. Don't worry if you are not understanding these statements now. Okay, we'll learn about these statements in detail in the subsequent sections. For the timing, just understand that this particular command is given to select a particular sheet. Then I want to clear all the data, so I'll write cells.clear. what this particular statement will do is it will select or remove all the pivot table. Once the data has been cleared, I need to go back to the source. So I will write sheets in data. What this simply does is when I pivot, it will come to the sheet 6, remove all the data, then go back to the main data. Fine. Now to be on the safe side, in the main data, I will select the cell A1. Because it might happen that when I go back to the main data, the cell might be on a blank. So to be on the safe side, I am selecting the cell. Okay. Now, even if I run this macro any number of times, it should not give me any error. Let us see. Control Shift, I think P, and you will see that the pivot is generated. I'll go back to the main data again. Control Shift P, and you see the pivot is generated. Okay. So just make the changes here. You will get some statements like this. Instead of sheet 6, it will be sheet 7 or sheet 8. So remove that sheets.add. Remove that statement and replace it with this statement. Now your sheet number and my sheet number might be different. So make sure that you are replacing these statements with your sheet number.
I do have one query.
Huh.
I have followed all the steps which you have asked me to do, but even in my case, there is no any sheet or sheet coding is available. Should I share my screen so that you can please help me?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Allocate. Are you seeing my screen?
Now see, when you recorded the macro, you selected the data first, then you went to pivot table and you ran it. Okay. So when you are generating a pivot or a subtotal, there is no need to select the whole database. Only criteria is that your cell should be inside the main database. So that is why you are getting it. Selection dot end Excel to left, selection dot end Excel up.
Okay.
Again, so you can safely remove that. Selection से लेके application dot cut copy mode false वहां तक का remove कर दो. Application dot cut copy mode. हाँ. Now it is going to the main data, and that is table destination is active sheet cells. Okay. What you have done is you have gone on a blank sheet, then you try to generate the pivot table from a blank sheet, right? Am I right?
Yes, actually, same thing I'm doing. I was doing same thing. But
okay, fine. Okay, one thing you can do is, can you go back to the Excel sheet?
Yes.
Can you go back to the Excel sheet?
This is our main data.
No, not main. Yeah, not main data. The sheet on which the pivot is generated, the sheet 11. Okay. Now you go back to the code. You go back to the code. In the start, in the beginning, you write sheets.
Before active, yeah.
Yeah, before
Okay.
active sheets.
Huh?
Sheets in bracket in double quotes sheets 11 dot select.
Dot select.
No, sheets
Huh?
open bracket.
Okay.
You have written sheet. It should be sheets with S.
S.
Sheets. Then sheet 11 dot select. Write sheet 11. You have to write sheet 11, not just 11. Sheet 11. Then close the bracket with the double quotes. 11 के बाद double quotes. Close the
11
bracket.
के
Then dot select.
11 के बाद double quotes
Sheet
close
11. double quotes चाहिए.
हाँ.
Then close the bracket.
Okay.
Dot select. Select के बाद double quotes की. Correct, perfect. So what this statement will do is it will select that particular sheet. Okay. Then you need to remove that pivot table. If the pivot table is already there, you need to remove. So cells dot clear. Cells dot clear. Cells dot clear. CLLS. Cells.
Actually, your voice is cracking. That's why I'm not hearing you very well.
Cells dot clear. I'll put it in the chat.
Is it okay?
Why we are why we are giving cells dot clear, sir?
To clear the previous pivot.
Okay. The main. Okay. I got your idea. Cells dot clear. I mentioned that.
You can check the chat also. I will type it in the chat also. If my voice is cracking.
Okay. Yes, I have typed same thing now.
Then press enter. Press enter. Now you are in the sheet 11. Okay. Now from here you need to go to main data.
Okay.
For that, sheets main data dot select.
Sheets dot main data.
Sheets in bracket. Like you have written sheets 11. Main data should be in quotes. Sheets main data dot select. Or main data में अगर space है तो you need to give a space also. Okay. Dot select.
Okay.
Enter.
I have main data. Yes, enter.
Then write range A1 dot select. Range A1 dot select.
Range
A1 dot select.
Okay.
Okay. Now see here. I told you that whenever you write a macro or record a macro, there can be errors. Okay. So I can also debug a program. Debugging means running the program step by step. Fine. Now suppose I want to find out how this pivot table macro is generated. I'll just share my screen.
I'm going back to use.
Pardon? I'll just share my screen. Now suppose I want to see how the macro is getting generated, how the pivot table is getting generated. Then what we can do is we can run the macro step by step. Okay. So just watch on the screen. How do I run the macro step by step? By pressing the function key F8. Now you'll see that I press the function key F8. So you'll see that the name of the program is getting highlighted. Again I press F8, it will come to the next statement. Again F8, it will go to the statement called as sheet 6 dot select. So when you want to run the program step by step, you press the function key F8. Now the statement on which you see the highlight that is getting processed, it is not getting executed. only when you press F8 again, the previous statement gets executed. Okay, now the statement sheet 6 dot select got executed. Now when you run the program in a step-by-step mode, you also want to see what is happening on the Excel sheet. So what we can do is we can display the Excel sheet and the Visual Basic Editor side by side. How do you do that? What you do is you press the Windows key and the right arrow. The moment I press the Windows key and the right arrow, you will see the Visual Basic Editor is displayed on the right side of the screen. Likewise, I'll go to the Excel sheet and press Windows key and left arrow. So now you can see both the sheets at the same time, the Excel sheet as well as the Visual Basic Editor. I'll show it once again, just watch on the screen. See, my objective is to display both the screens, Excel sheet and the Visual Basic Editor, side by side, so that whenever I run the program step by step, I can see what is happening on the Excel sheet. So for that, when you're in the Visual Basic Editor, you press the Windows key and the right arrow, so that Visual Basic Editor will come on the right hand side. Then you click on the Excel sheet and press Windows key and the left arrow. So you'll see both side by side. Now, to run the program step by step, I'll keep my cursor inside that subroutine and press F8. Now you can see that the statement sheet 6 dot select, that is getting highlighted, but it will get executed only when I press F8 again. I'll come to some other sheet, then you can see. Right now you can see that the sheet called as topics is getting selected. Now when I press F8, now you see sheet 6 is selected. Now when I press F8 again, it should clear all the data. Now you see the entire data is getting cleared. Now when it is sheets main data dot select, when I press F8 again, you will see the main data sheet is getting selected. And generate the pivot. So you can see that the program is running step by step. Let's see this particular statement with active sheet, pivot tables, orientation, Excel row field. You can see the department has come on the row. Again, I press F8. Again, I press F8. You can see the employee names. Then in the column I have regions, then values. Okay. So you can also run it step by step and see how the macro is running. Place both the screens side by side and then you press F8.
I have a doubt. So when you stop the recording and we find the VBA coding, we find some error, no sir, debug.
Right.
So it is directly highlighting on the row which has error. So in that row, how we come to know that which one is error?
The statement on which you see the highlight, that statement has some error. That is why it is getting highlighted in a yellow color.
Yeah. No, that I understood. After that, what we want to do, how can we come to know? Actually, is that any error solving also? It will give any solution for that?
Right. So you can see that when that particular statement was getting highlighted, you saw that it was hiding a sheet, and the sheet was sheet 7. But the pivot is getting generated on a sheet 6, which already has a pivot. Now, for example, here, even if I do it manually, suppose I don't remove the pivot here. Suppose you already have a pivot, and if I try to generate a pivot again, it is going to give error because you can't have a pivot superimposed on existing pivot.
Okay.
So that is always generate error. So that is how you should know that whatever is happening manually, that can generate error in your program also. For example, here I'll show you. Okay. Now let us say I have one more pivot here. Now, if I go to the first pivot, and if I try to drag the first name, it will not give me. It will give me error. It will say, yeah, pivot report cannot overlap another pivot table. The same error is getting generated there also. Only thing is that it is getting generated programmatically.
Okay.
And this error solving, you will become expert on that only when you have written a couple of programs and then you run it in a step-by-step mode. Okay? Then you'll come to know that, okay, this is why I'm getting error. So this should be solved in this particular manner, like that.
Okay, but you have mentioned the clear, right? Sheet clear something. So whether it denotes that we are clearing the earlier generated pivot.
Pardon? The error that you are getting, yeah.
Yeah, you have mentioned in the VBA code while giving the command clear sheet something, right? In debugging the statement.
In the error statement.
Yeah, in the error statement.
This.
No, not here. In the VBA code, sir. Can you go to the VBA code?
The VBA code. I'll go to the VBA
code. Start up that. Can you go to the top? Yeah, cells clear, right? Cells dot clear. It shows that we are clearing the earlier generated pivot.
Correct. Cells dot clear will clear the entire data, whether it is a pivot or any other data. Everything will be cleared. It will become blank, totally blank. So this is a very dangerous command. Cells dot clear. The entire data will be cleared. So what we are doing is, before we generate the pivot, we are making sure that there is no data in that particular sheet. So that is why we are going to the sheet first. Then we are clearing any existing data. Then we are going to the main data and then generating a pivot.
Okay.
Working fine for everyone?
Yes, it's working.
So today we saw, this is day 1. we started with an overview. Then we saw how to apply advanced filters. Then subtotal. Then we recorded a macro. Then we did a subtotal macro recording. An advanced filters recording. And assigned it to a button. Right. So any doubts, any difficulties, the topics that we have covered? Anything regarding advanced filters, subtotals, developer tab?
Sir, yeah. This is we have seen with respect to single type of subtotal or pivot. Whether I can use it for multiple sheets, whether the same VBA, or I need to copy paste everywhere the VBA codes.
You want a pivot table to be created when you have multiple sheets, right?
Yeah.
So one method is you can consolidate all the multiple sheets in a single sheet. Then you can generate a pivot out of that.
Okay.
Or the other method is when you have data in multiple sheets, you can also press Alt DP. I think, yeah. We can also use this particular option where you have multiple consolidation. Even this can be used. So when you have data in multiple sheets.
How, sir? How this command?
So for bringing this particular window, you press Alt DP.
Alt DP.
Alt D. D for Delhi.
Yeah.
And P for Patna.
Okay.
And you select multiple consolidation ranges.
Okay.
Then you click on OK. And from here, you can select the range. Even if you have the data in multiple sheets, you can select the range here and then go on clicking add. But what is suggested is you put all the data in a single sheet and then generate a pivot, because this will not always give you the correct result that you want. Okay.
Okay, sir. If this is the file which you have given for our references, I have the same type of three. If I have same three type of files, whether I need to create each and every time VBA recording or code for that other sheet itself. Sheet means new workbook, new Excel file. So if I want to create again and again each and every time the VBA, or I can use the same VBA which I have developed for single workbook.
Yeah, it can be done. See, the recording is only if you have the format of the data is same and the range is not going to change. There you can use recording part. On a recording part, you don't have a control of the flow of the program. Okay. But suppose your location of the file is going to change, the number of sheets are going to change, the data is going to change, the range is going to change, then it is better to go for the coding part. Over the coding part, you have a better control of the flow of the program. Recording is only for just creating simple reports. where the
Okay.
data is going to remain same, the format is going to remain same.
Within
We
the
can
single
also
output,
use
right?
we can also use a combination of recording and coding. We'll also see that. Okay. Now from the next session onwards, we'll be concentrating more on the coding part.
Okay.
So we'll see how to write a program, how to select a sheet, how to select data from multiple sheets, how to consolidate it, and then maybe generate a pivot. All this will be seeing in the subsequent sessions.
Okay. What will be the day 2 section classes topics?
Yeah, that is what I'm going to right now. So before that, I thought I'll ask you whether you have any doubts, any queries or anything. So day 1 is the next session. I think we have it on the 10th, right? On day 2, we'll be learning about UDF. UDF is functions. You can create your own functions in Excel. These are called as UDF. Then you'll also see some basic statements for coding, that is range selection statements. Then using the range selection statements, we'll write a data entries program. Then here I'll see something called as conditional statements. Also see loops. This should be covered in this 4 hours. Then day 3, like we have range selection statements, we also have something called as sheet selection statements. How to select a sheet, how to add a sheet. This come under sheet selection statements. Then we'll do a VLOOKUP. Then data consolidation. This is we are going to get data from multiple sheets and put it in a single sheet. Then handling. And cross application macros. Cross application macros means suppose I want to send a mail through Outlook from Excel. We'll see how that can be done. Or if you want to automatically generate a presentation from the graphs that is created in Excel, these are called as cross application macros. If you cover that in day 3, in day 4 we'll see then how to create an add-in, and then finally we'll do a small assignment.
So this cross application program is interface with other programs like COM, using COM.
Yeah, other Microsoft applications. For example, if I on a click of a button, suppose I want to send a mail through Outlook.
Okay.
For that we need to write cross application program.
Okay. In cross application, can we use MS Access also from Excel to Access some way?
Yeah, yeah, even that can be done.
We can
But
is a program, yeah, with other applications also like Adobe.
no, for see, Microsoft supports Microsoft applications like Outlook is a part of Microsoft application, PowerPoint is a part of Microsoft applications. So you have all the objects for those programs already there in Visual Basic. But suppose I want to send a mail through Gmail, which is not a part of your Microsoft application, then that Gmail object should be installed in your system first. Then you can manipulate that Gmail object also.
Yeah, like that, the same. If I want to extract data even from PDF, is it possible by it is already installed in our system? Is it possible to manipulate in Excel?
Yeah, in that case, it can be done. Yeah.
Okay.
If the Gmail object is there, it can be done.
Is it possible you can also explain like a glance on the other applications?
No, I think that is not, that is beyond the scope of this session that we are having.
Okay.
Yeah, at present we are concentrating only on Microsoft objects.
Okay, fine.
Huh. So these are the topics that we are going to cover. Okay. Now what you can do is, I think we have 1 week, right, before the next session. So what you can do is, if you get the time, then you try to record your macro on your database, which you think should be automated. For the time being, just start with a small macro. Okay, maybe you want to create a pivot or maybe a subtotal like macro in your database. You just try it out, and then you know that practice will make you perfect. So whatever concepts that you learn here, try to apply that in your daily work also. One more thing is that if you are going to record a macro on your database, make sure that you create a copy of your database and do the recording or the R&D on that, because any changes done by the macro can't be undone. You can't undo it. Whatever changes are done by the macro are permanent. So you never know that when the macro will behave, in a very erratic manner, and that should not mess up the data. So always make a copy of your main database and record the macro or run the macro on the copy. So your original database will be always, safe. Okay. So how did you find the training? You found it informative? Did you learn new things? Do you think the pace should I go a little bit slower, or is the pace okay? Yes. Hello.
Yeah, it's okay, sir. No issues.
Huh. Yeah, Parag.
Yes, everything is okay. There is no any kind of issue. The way you are explaining each and every micro things, it is going to help us more and more.
Yeah. Thank you, Parag.
Yeah, the overall training was very nice, and it is like there are a lot of things I've learned. They are new to me, but naturally it will help me in future. And we'll look forward to other sessions too. Thank you.
One thing is that you need to be in constant practice.
Yes, exactly.
Whether it is VBA, whether it is macros, or whether it is Excel functions. Even if I don't practice, we look up say for 6 months, I'm going to forget it. That is natural.
Right.
Okay. So you should be in constant practice, and the more important thing is that once you have learned a concept, you will think that, okay, I have understood it, but how to apply that concept in your daily work, that is more important. Okay. So I want all of you to be in constant practice and try to apply the concept that you have learned on your database, and it should work fine then.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Namita.
Is perfectly fine.
Thanks, sir.
I think each and every aspect you are covering, that will definitely in the upcoming days.
Yeah, your voice was breaking, so I did not get the entire thing what you said.
Okay, Amardeep, can you hear me? Is it better?
Yeah. Now it is better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I told Amardeep, the way of delivering is perfectly fine, and the kind of details that you are going into, I think we will definitely help in the upcoming days.
Thank you. Yeah, Prabhas, you want to add anything?
Nothing, Amar. See, that's what I was trying to close with the finishing note of taking the interim feedback. So as long as people are happy and the speed is also okay, they can capture the things and it is leaving with some takeaways for them. So as you rightly said, everything one overnight is not possible. They have to practice. That's the reason why we have not taken 4 continuous days of training program. 4 weekends only we have taken. So please utilize that lead time, whatever the breaks we have given, so that day 2, when you come, you should be ready enough with all the inputs, because day 1 is the base and it's the fundamentals where your day 2, day 3, day 4 modeling is going to be built. So I request everyone, please practice well and be ready. And if at all any queries are there, you want us to log in before 10 minutes, we can do that. We will be ready to support you. Don't worry. Because please drop a message in the WhatsApp group what we have created. That is for the easy access and prompt reach purpose only, and for all your concerns to solve. And in fact, Amar is also there in the group, so that he also can log in before the scheduled time, and exactly will be utilizing our window time of 10 to 2 p.m. solid to learn something new instead of repeating the same topic again and again. So that's a kind request. Practice well, be ready for day 2. All right, so everything is clear. There is no queries. We can come to the closure of the session and we can call it as a day. And maximum by end of the day, you will be getting the recordings, and we'll be mailing you the same, and we'll be also dropping a link also in the WhatsApp group, so you can go through that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Amar. So I guess it's the time we can close for that. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Stay safe, stay indoors. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.